Am I the idiot for banning my sister's boyfriend from our apartment? Please help, because I really feel like I'm being made out to be crazy. I, 27, female, share an apartment with my sister, 19, female. Let me preface this by saying that I am the only one on our lease, since she is not old enough. Our complex says you have to be 21, so right now she pays less than half the rent in exchange to stay here, which is around $400 out of $955. She doesn't pay for anything else, bills, utilities, etc. 2 weeks ago, after having an argument with our mother and I over not helping pay for other utilities, cleaning up messes, generally being a not great roommate, my sister left the apartment and went to visit her boyfriend, 19, male, at the bakery where he works. He and I have had disagreements in the past about him smoking, not tobacco, in our apartment, which puts me at risk for eviction, and over him leaving messes and trash around when he comes to visit, where he normally stays for a few days at a time. After this disagreement, however, I received a text from him after midnight telling me that I needed to call him to talk. I didn't answer, because I was upset and I'm not the one to be confrontational, especially when I'm not calm. He arrived at my apartment with my sister. It was after 1 a.m. at this point. I was in bed, lights off, in pajamas, when he began pounding on my door. Before I even answered, he opened it and was in my room, yelling at me about letting my mom come between me and my sister. I was already shaken at that point. My door doesn't lock, so I was already very caught off guard, and I was scared. I told him that it was something between my mom, my sister, and myself. Not him. He stormed into my room and tossed his key that my sister had given to him onto my nightstand, told me to have a nice effing life, and slammed my door shut again before I could even answer. I told my sister I didn't feel comfortable with him coming to our apartment anymore. It's been a week, and she and I just had our first fight about it tonight. I held my ground and said I didn't want him over. She says I'm irrational and being selfish, and that I'm destroying her mental health by banning him, but I really don't feel comfortable, and technically, and legally, it is my apartment. Am I the idiot? OP also gives more info in the comments. 1. Why doesn't your door lock? That needs to be fixed immediately. 2. Why does he have a key if the door doesn't lock? 3. He's way too aggressive and entitled. She can visit him at his place. For some reason, my bedroom doesn't have one. It's the master, and my bathroom has one, but not my bedroom door handle. Hers does, but up until now it hasn't been much of an issue. I can't replace the hardware, but I think I'm going to look into one of those portable locks, regardless of what happens. And he had a key because my sister got one made for him, which she had mentioned to me briefly that she was thinking about it, and I said that I wasn't comfortable. But when he would stay the night, and she and I would both leave for work, he would stay behind and have no way to lock the door behind him. That was her reasoning after I confronted her. OP continues with the informations. I appreciate everyone's comments. It's definitely reassuring to know that I'm not the one being irrational. She moved in with me at 17 because she kind of acted the same way, not with a boyfriend but with the not helping, making a mess, gaslighting and etc. with my mom, and my mom had enough. So I let her move in with me, and my mom went to Florida. She was visiting when we had the talk that spurred it all. The biggest issues are that it's going to be astronomically difficult to afford the apartment on my own if I make her leave, and she's still my sister. I still love her. I told her I wouldn't just abandon her or throw her out on the street, but I know she'd either have to move in with her dad almost an hour away because she can't afford a place of her own. I guess I'm just feeling torn between giving in, so I know she'll be safe and housed, or standing my ground and being another person that turned their back on her. So you're doing your sister a favor by letting her live with you, and not only she doesn't help with the housework, but she also apparently doesn't see a problem with her boyfriend barging into your room and yelling at you. I would not only kick him out, but her too. I have no idea what is like the relationship between your mother and your sister or between your mother and the guy. If she likes him or not, but if she don't, he's clearly shown you why. He doesn't respect you or your home, he invades your personal space, and he leaves you at risk of being evicted because of his habits. Don't let him go back to your apartment, OP. Clearly, you are not the idiot. And what would you do if you were OP? Would you guys kick the guy out too? Now let's read some comments before going to the updates. Not the idiot. A man storms into your bedroom, your safe space, in the middle of the night screaming at you? He wouldn't be allowed in my home either. Can we also talk about just kicking sister out? Sounds like she needs to learn some life lessons. Not the idiot. Your sister gave him a key? I'd seriously be thinking about kicking her out as well. Not the idiot. He's never allowed back. Not ever, no matter what. Not the idiot. Do not put your living arrangements at risk for your sister's relationship. Do not expect a 19-year-old to be mature enough to understand the situation. More so, the dude acted aggressive, so he needs to stay away. You are not the maid or their parent to pay their bills. You did more than enough for your sister until now. She is a young adult and does not need to rely on you for financial support or house chores. She can either comply or pack her stuff and move in with the boyfriend so they can be lazy bags together. Agree. Tell your sister she either accepts your rules or moves out. And change the locks just in case. Warn your sister if her boyfriend gets a key again, she'll recover her things from the street after you change the locks on her. Not the idiot. Forgot to add, send the boyfriend a text that you don't want him ever in your apartment again, and if he dares step foot in your house you will call the police. Update. Thank you for everyone that commented, it really made me feel heard and understood in the ways I needed to. I ended up telling my sister she needed to stay with her dad for a few days while I thought about what needed to be done, and that if her boyfriend showed up at any point, whether I was there or not, that I would call the police as it was considered trespassing. I don't think she expected that, and I think it really drove home the fact that she really might get kicked out over this boy and that, for once, I wasn't going to roll over. After 3 days, she asked if she could come over to talk and apologize. I allowed it. She apologized, said that she'd pack his things at our apartment and give them to him at work, and that he wouldn't come over again. I pointed out the fact that we've never really had an argument where I've put down a hard boundary and kept it, and when I finally did she acted like a brat. So I made sure to address that she's been selfish by accusing me of hurting her mental health while ignoring mine. For now, she is allowed to stay with me again, but she and I are both looking for separate apartments. My lease is up in July, so at least I have time to look. Again, thank you everyone. This was a huge wake-up call, and I'm going to try and be more assertive about my own safety and well-being from now on. Lots of love. Good. It looks like OP's sister came to her senses and decided to apologize, respect her sister's decisions, and maybe put an end to the relationship with her problematic boyfriend. Apparently, things are getting better for the sisters. Or maybe not. Second update. You were alright. She snuck him in while I was at work. Got a really weird feeling in my stomach when I got home, probably the first time I've ever had such strong instincts, and checked my Ring camera. They tried blocking it, but I have 2 very clear shots of him walking in the door and walking back out about 2 hours later. I told my sister to get out. She's not the least bit apologetic. I very strongly suggested that she needs to stay with her grandpa until she can find somewhere to go, and I think I must have reached my limit, because I don't even feel anything anymore. Last night I was so mad and upset that I was shaking and that my legs felt like jelly. Today I just don't feel anything. Thank you all for your reassurance and condolences and support. I owe all of you a hug. I'm so sorry you're going through this, OP. For your sister lying to you, and even more so, not caring how much this lie can damage the relationship between you two. I think you're doing the right thing. You guys need space from each other, and you really don't need to deal with this type of stuff, especially from someone who doesn't respect you. Now let's go to the final update. Final update. I am out of the apartment. Though I didn't anticipate moving in with my dad at 27, I finally went against my mom and my sister and told them I was done. I packed up my things and left. I've been living at my dad's house for a week, and he said I'm welcome to stay until I find an apartment I can afford, which I'm actively looking for, and my sister kept the apartment. Last we spoke, her new roommate has a boyfriend, who is disrespectful, messy, and verbally aggressive to her and her boyfriend. Narcissistic. Doesn't respect her boundaries. Sounds kinda familiar. I'm not saying karma is real, but it's really ironic. Thanks again to everyone helping to reassure me I'm not crazy. It feels like a small step backwards, but hopefully it'll lead to bigger steps forward in the future. Well, I'm sorry you had to leave your apartment sooner than you expected, OP. But at least that problem doesn't belong to you anymore. And LOL, karma is really biting her in the ass with the new roommate's boyfriend situation. It wouldn't surprise me at all if she calls you, begging you to come back, LOL. I hope that in the future you can have a healthy relationship with your sister and mother. But until then, good luck, OP. Oh, and don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications to know when a new video is out. Now let's go to the next story. Am I the idiot for not letting my mum see her first grandchild's birth? Me and my mum were never close. She was abusive and neglectful. As soon as I moved out, I cut off all contacts with her, until I found out I was pregnant. My mum was the first person I called, and she immediately came to my house to congratulate me and give me presents. It was the first time in 5 years that she had been nice to me. We spent about 2 days together, and then she had to go back home. She visited me almost every day of my pregnancy. She bought baby stuff, clothes for me, a pushchair for the baby, and even helped decorate the nursery. I was 6 months pregnant when I overheard my mum insulting me on the phone to my sister. Have you seen how much weight she's put on? I never put on that much weight when I was pregnant. She doesn't even know what she's doing. That kid will be in foster care before it can even walk. Her words stuck to me. I tried to hold back my tears as I walked past her. My fiancé came home from work and noticed how down I looked. I told him everything that my mum said, and he was red with rage. When we went for our appointment to discuss our birthing plan, the doctor asked me who would be in the room with me. I obviously said my fiancé, but I had to think about my mum. Did she really deserve that honor? When the doctor asked me again, I told him my fiancé's mother could come. Everything was planned, and on the day we went to the hospital, we didn't even tell my mom. The birth was painful, but I had the best people with me. Once it was all over, I had a couple hours alone with my fiancé and my son. I finally gained the courage to call my mom and tell her that the baby had arrived. I called her, and when she picked up and saw me holding my son, she was mortified. She was shouting at me down the phone, calling me every name under the sun, calling me ungrateful and a burden. I hung up the call, because I couldn't be bothered to deal with her BS. She came to visit me a few days later with my sisters, and I had a secret I had kept from her because I knew she would freak once she found out. She held my son in her arms and asked, "What's his name?" My fiancé looked at me with fear in his eyes. "Michael," I replied. She stared at me blankly and yelled, "You named my grandson after his effing grandfather on Asher's side?" Asher is my fiancé. I kicked her out of my house. So am I the a-hole? No, OP, I don't think you were stupid. You are protecting yourself and your child. There was no need for your mother to make this type of comment to anyone about you, even to your sister, especially at a time when women already feel so vulnerable, like during pregnancy. And then yell at you in front of your newborn son just because she didn't like his name. Come on, there was no need for that. Does she have a problem with your fiancé or his family? Or is she just mad that she didn't have a say in the baby's name? Is it just a matter of her wanting to control your choices? Honestly, I don't know. But no, OP, you weren't the idiot. You needed to have people you trusted and felt comfortable with, and who would support you at this vulnerable time. And unfortunately, your mother is not one of them. I understand wanting to have your mom in your life, but I believe that the best thing for you and your kid is to go back to no contact with her. More info. She wanted me to name him Marshall after her dad, but my fiancé's granddad has cancer and doesn't have long left, so we wanted to honor him by naming our son after him. Me and my fiancé agreed to not allow her to come to my wedding. We have cut her off for now, but she'll find her way back. She always does. And what do you think about this? What would you do if you were OP? Now let's read some comments. Not the idiot. You went 5 years with no contact and things were swell, right? Sounds like you need about 18 more years of no contact. Not the idiot. Yes, I agree that it warrants a lifetime of no contact. Now when Michael grows up, he can decide what he wants to do, but there's no real advantage to having someone in your life who thinks that because they're nice to you in front of you, they can have a nasty and abusive attitude in your back. You certainly don't deserve that, and rather deserve to have positive and loving people around you. I'm glad you have found a loving family with Asher and his family. It sounds like you have an amazing family and in-law family. Not the idiot. You've given her so many chances and she doesn't deserve any of them. If you keep giving her chances, this will continue to happen and get worse as time goes on. She doesn't respect you as a person or a parent. Don't give her the opportunity to undermine you in front of your child. Cut her off and live your best life with your fiancé and son. Not the idiot. Cut that shit of your life. She might play nice at times to your face, but she will continue sniveling behind your back. Based on what you're saying in your post, I honestly think you, your fiancé and kid are better off if you terminate contact. She's mean to you on your weight. Who the F does that, especially when pregnant? She is hurtful when it comes to naming the kid, doesn't have any say, especially after 5 years of no contact. F that shit, you don't need any of that. Hard. Not the idiot. Not the idiot. You don't have to allow her in the delivery room after she openly insulted you. It was your birth. Her yelling at you on the phone after you gave birth is insane. Then yelling at you over your son's name? You did nothing wrong and congratulations. So, that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.